Hi, my name's Andy. I wear bow ties because bow ties are cool. This is Curiosity Corner Live from the Great Lakes Science Center. Science Center is currently closed for the health and safety of our guests, our staff, and our partners, but we're gonna come to you every morning at 10:30 with some cool science, knowledge, and challenges and demonstrations. Right now, I am here with my favorite exhibit in the entire museum. This is our moon rock from Apollo 15. So this rock was picked up as part of over 170 pounds of material during the Apollo 15 mission. And this rock is pretty unique because one of the astronauts saw it sitting on the crater and said, "Oh, that rock looks interesting," and asked NASA if he could go out of his way to pick it up. So he picked it up. Taking a look at this rock, what are some features that stand out to you? What are some things about this rock that look interesting? There's a few cool things that I see. One thing that I see is there are white spots on the rock. Those white spots are actually glass. If you have ever heard of the substance called obsidian, obsidian is volcanic glass that forms when lava cools really, really fast. That's sort of what happened here. Those white spots were made when dust on the moon was turned into liquid from a meteor impact and thrown up and then settled on the rocks as glass. And some sides of the rock are cut because this was originally the size of a football when they picked it up, and they cut it up. There's pieces in France being studied, and from the geochemistry, that's the chemistry of rocks and geology, we know that rocks on the moon are completely different from rocks on Earth. They have some similarities, but they're so different. They're things that you cannot find on Earth. This is an example of a rock called impact breccia, which means it was made by a meteor impact. We can find that here on Earth, but not as often as we can find it on the moon. So I have some examples here of some things that people made to study the moon. We can't go to the moon all the time, but we can simulate, we can make things that are like stuff on the moon. So this is normal sand. And you can see when I shake it, it behaves like sand. If I let it tumble, it kind of crumples and moves because each grain of this sand is round. Here on Earth, we have something called weathering or erosion, and the bits of sand will turn round as they rub on each other or as air and water move over them. This is a simulation of lunar sand. You can see it's cracking as I roll it, and it's clumping together. Instead of rolling on itself, it's locking in. Each grain, each bit of this sand is really, really sharp. And they had to be careful of that when they were doing the Apollo missions on the moon, because this can stick to a spacesuit. And they had trouble with those pieces of sand sticking to their spacesuit. They get back into the lunar lander, and then that dust gets into the air, it gets into their lungs. And so in future missions, the plan is to have suits that stay on the outside of the lander that astronauts will get into so they don't have to worry about that dust kicking up. Now, we're going to explore the moon soon. Moon soon, that's a rhyme. I'm a poet and I didn't even realize. These are the locations that we've already found, that we've already landed on the moon. These are the places we've already gone to on the moon. Here's Apollo 15 right there. And there's Apollo 11. Where's Apollo 11? There's the first one. That's the first lunar landing right there on the equator. There's more landings scattered around, and there's more planned. We've only ever landed on this side. We've never landed any people on the far side of the moon. That's because it's really far away. It's hard to communicate with the Earth from this far side of the moon. It's really easy to communicate from the near side. So, I hope you had a great time exploring the moon rock with me. And here's what I hope that you will do at home. I want you to take a look at the moon. It might be out right now, it might be out tonight, but the next chance that you get to look at the moon, think about the moon. Think about why it might be facing the earth all the time, and think about where we've been and where we're going to go. And I'll leave you with that thought. So thank you for joining me, and stay curious.